What if you saw a river suddenly stop flowing downstream, reverse its current, and then watched a perfect wave travel upstream for miles? This isn't science fiction. It's one of nature's most bizarre water shows, and it happens more often than you think. Picture this: you're standing by a calm, peaceful river, watching the water flow gently toward the sea. The current is steady, the surface is smooth. Then something strange begins to happen. In the distance, you hear what sounds like an approaching train. The river's surface starts to churn. The water level drops suddenly, exposing mudflats and rocks. And then you see it, a wall of water, sometimes several feet high, rushing upstream against the river's natural flow. Birds scatter, the banks tremble, and in minutes, the entire character of the river has changed. This is a tidal bore, one of the most dramatic and least understood phenomena in hydrology. So how does a river, which has spent thousands of years carving its path to the ocean, suddenly decide to flow backward? The answer lies in a delicate dance between the moon, the shape of the land, and the power of the sea. Most rivers are ruled by gravity. Water flows from high ground to low, following the path of least resistance toward the ocean. But in certain special places around the world, the ocean fights back. A tidal bore occurs when the incoming tide is so powerful that it pushes against the river's current, forming a visible wave that travels inland. This isn't just a small ripple. We're talking about a moving wall of water that can surf, that boats can ride, that rewrites the rules of river hydrology for hours at a time. For a tidal bore to form, several conditions have to align perfectly. First, you need a large tidal range. The difference between high and low tide must be significant, usually over 20 feet. Second, the river must be shallow and wide near its mouth, funneling the ocean's energy rather than dissipating it. And third, the riverbed needs a specific shape, often gently sloping upward, that helps compress the tidal push into a single, dominant wavefront. Some of the world's most famous tidal bores turn rivers into temporary surfing destinations. The Severn Bore in England can reach nearly 10 feet high, with surfers riding the wave for over an hour across the countryside. The Kayantang River in China hosts the world's largest tidal bore, a thunderous wave known as the Silver Dragon, sometimes reaching 30 feet high, roaring upstream at 25 miles per hour. For centuries, this wave was feared by locals, capable of capsizing boats and sweeping people off riverbanks. Now it draws thousands of spectators each year, but the real magic of the tidal bore isn't just the wave itself, it's what happens to the river in its wake. After the bore passes, the river doesn't just return to normal. For the next several hours, the entire waterway flows backward. Fish that were heading to the sea are suddenly carried inland. Saltwater mixes with freshwater, creating temporary ecosystems where marine and river species meet. The river becomes a hybrid, part river, part ocean extension, until the tide turns again. This reversal creates what scientists call a tidal river, a place where the usual rules of river life are suspended twice a day. Plants and animals here have adapted to this strange rhythm. Some fish time their migrations to ride the bore upstream. Certain insects emerge only during the brief window when the water is still. Even the sediment moves differently. Sand and silt are carried inland, building unique riverbank formations found nowhere else. Perhaps the most fascinating thing about tidal bores is how they reveal the hidden power of tidal forces. We often think of tides as gentle, slow rises and falls of the sea. But when that energy gets focused into a narrow channel, it becomes a concentrated, unstoppable force. The bore is essentially a shockwave, the ocean's way of announcing that it's taking over for a while. What's truly remarkable is that this phenomenon isn't just a curiosity. It's a critical part of coastal ecosystems. Tidal bore rivers are among the most productive habitats on Earth. The constant mixing of nutrients from the ocean and the land creates rich feeding grounds for birds, fish, and mammals. The scouring action of the bore keeps the river deep and clear, preventing silt from clogging the estuary. In a way, the bore acts like a natural cleaning service for the river, sweeping debris and redistributing sediment in a cycle that has continued for millennia today. Tidal bores face new challenges. Dams, dredging, and coastal development can disrupt the delicate balance needed for bore formation. Some famous bores have weakened or disappeared entirely due to human interference. But in protected areas, they remain one of nature's most reliable spectacles, a reminder that even the most constant-seeming forces, like a river's flow, can be dramatically overturned by the rhythms of our planet. The next time you stand by a river, remember that what you're seeing is just one part of its story. Beneath that steady current lies the potential for reversal, for surprise, for a wave that defies expectation. The tidal bore shows us that nature doesn't always follow the rules we assign to it. Sometimes, it writes its own. Have you ever witnessed a tidal bore or another surprising natural phenomenon? Share your experience in the comments. We might feature your story in a future video. And if you want to uncover more of nature's hidden wonders, subscribe to Nature Unlocked and hit the bell so you never miss an exploration.